Hello, and welcome. If you're seeing the Coaches Lounge with Barbara J. Beckley, you are in the right spot. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and every week I bring you some wonderful, amazing experts for life and in your business to spotlight them. Now, I always say I created this particular show to really spotlight coaches, consultants, educators, mentors, anybody that's really fueling you to move to the next needle in your life. And that can be in any aspect. It could be personal development, it could be finances, and the list goes on. But I was feeling like they weren't getting the love. It's like, okay, you stay with people, you're working with people, you're with them through the grind when when they give up, you're like, no, you can't do it, keep doing it. Those are the coaches, those are the people in your life. And they don't get the love like they should. So I said, I think I'll create a show. That's one thing about creativity in your life. You can always create something if you don't see something going. So with that said, I love to bring on individuals that are just moving that needle, that's helping people, that's really seeing that, okay, there's a need here. And how can we fill that need? How can we move that where people are really genuine, getting something done and accomplished for others? And that's what I do here at the Coaches Lounge, to show you that. So tonight, I am really excited because I have a wonderful, amazing couple that's coming on. I love when I get couples. I love it because that means they're just, they have like-minded togetherness and they're building their empire. And this particular couple, Jeff and Catherine Pearson, I'm telling you, I met him just maybe over a year ago because he was on another show that I'm with. And when he told us his story, I was like, okay, I got to bring you on other shows. And then when he told me that he has, I got my other half with me, my wife, I'm like, I got two for the price of one. So I always call, and I do this, usually I have a lot of women come on, I call them queens. And when the men come on, I call them kings. So now I can say queen and king that's coming on the show. Now, they are power pack couple. Just to let you know, they are over the CEOs of Invisible Conditions. That's their TV show that they have that focuses on amazing individuals living and thriving despite a condition that you can't see from the outside. What I love about that is a lot of times people look at the outside of people, the outside, and say, they're this way, they're that way because of that. But you really don't get it sometimes. And I love what they do is they bring out that, okay, we're going to let you get this so you understand the full meaning of why people are dealing or their stories. And I love how they're doing it to the point where they have a university now. So I'm not doing it justice. I'm going to bring them on so we can have that talk. So we will bring them on right back after our lovely, we got to make our sponsors happy. So let's make our sponsors happy and we will be right back. Camera action. Elevating your business visibility on video. Hi, my name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I'm your purpose and visibility strategist. And I have created an amazing workshop just for you, unlocking the power of video for your business. Join me in an interactive workshop. Now, you're probably asking yourself, okay, Barbara, thanks for telling me to join you, but what's in it for you, right? Well, there's 4 basic benefits that I have found for this workshop just for you. First, increase your credibility. Establishing your brand as an authority in your industry. Being well known for what you do. Second, drive more sales. Turn those viewers, turn those spectators into growing your revenue as customers. 3, boost your engagement. Build that loyal community and drive people to your social media that will give you those clicks. And not only just click on what you do or your video, but make sure they get to be in your world. And again, being a client of yours. And then 4, stand out. Your uniqueness is your prize, is your secret sauce, as I tell people. And people need to know what that is. So you level that first impression by having your own video. Plus, you will get a workbook from me that you can take. We will work through it during our interactive workshop, and you'll also be able to take that away. You will get other tools to help you succeed in making sure that you are unlocking the power of your video for your business. Sign up today. It's to start elevating your business visibility with video. Who's this for? You might ask. Business owners, marketers looking to elevate their brand, to bring your brand to that next level. What to expect? Within a 2-hour interaction learning, you'll have actionable, we will put you to work, insight and valuable takeaways. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. And remember, your business should always be lights, camera, action. See you at the workshop. Beckley, and I'm a visibility and social media strategist. And we are back. Magic. Yes, I have the power couple with me.
You're too kind. I don't think I've ever been called. I don't think we've ever been called a power couple before. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll take it.
Yes. Take it in, say it, have other people say it.
Bring it on. Yeah.
Bring it on. So first, I just want to thank you because this is all about, I really want to make sure you get the spotlight of what you do. You two are doing so much with what you're doing, not just on your show, but also the Academy. So I just want to thank you for coming on the Coaches Lounge and just being a part of my world for a minute so I can really just give you that spotlight. But I would like to start off, both you, Jeff and Catherine. I know you two are the power couple. How did this, I always like to get that backstory a little bit before we start getting into it. So I want to hear that.
How far back you want to go?
We could go all the way back to when we were 12. How about that? That's when we met. So
we met in middle school. Yep.
Really? Oh,
seventh grade band class. Yeah.
Okay. See, now you got to be curious. Maybe we should go back to 12. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we had 7th grade band together, and Jeff talks about looking at me across the room
because of the way the room is arranged. I don't know if anybody out there is a band geek like us, but the room is arranged in kind of a semicircle. And so on this end over here is the clarinets, and in this side here is the flutes. And so you have great line of sight right there. Yeah. And so I was trying to pay attention to the music in front of me, but really there was this gorgeous girl right across, and so so pretty. I took me almost the whole 7th grade year to get the nerve up to go talk to her. So, and we didn't even meet in band class. Apparently we met in a totally different class anyway. So, but that was all this. That was 7th grade. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. That was a couple years ago. 7th grade.
Wow. That's I love, just before we move forward, I love to hear that, because a lot of couples now, they get together, then they break up or what have you. And just to hear the length of time that you two been together, and you met so much early in your life, and you're still standing, you're giving us hope. You're giving couples hope. So
admittedly, we were a little bit off and on friends.
We're in junior high. Nobody does it right in junior high. So yeah, off and on,
through middle school, high school, and then it was in the middle of college that we were like, "Yep, it's time."
All right,
yep,
it's on.
We want to do life together, so let's do it.
See that? I mean, still, like you said, the junior high school, sometimes that gets a little Harry.
Right?
Yeah.
I believe me,
Nobody's
I
got
know.
it. Nobody's got it figured out in middle school.
Never. Never. So
So,
anyway, 25 years later, here we are. So
wow. Congratulations.
thank
Congratulations.
you.
So now taking, like you said, doing life together. Like I said, the young people say now, lifing or whatever they're saying right now. I'm trying to get the new wording for it. But with that, you have your ups and flows, like you said, which you did. But through it all, you created this wonderful, I'm going to say it. I call it a movement. I want to give you I want to say a movement, what you're doing right now, because it
Love
really
that.
is. It really
Love
is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good word. Let's roll with that. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Movement. Yeah. So I mean, it kind of went from one to the next to the next. It was a really cool progression that we kind of where we arrived here. So we initially started a nonprofit called Hydro with Hope back a couple years ago, and that was out of a need that we saw for help, like tangible boots on the ground, hugging the people, spending time with the family, kind of stuff. There's so many organizations out there that are doing the really good work also of fundraising for research, for better devices, better blah, whatever. That's not my thing. I want to be with the families. And so that's where we created, some resources. Go ahead.
So real quick, and we're talking about resources surrounding the medical condition that Jeff has.
Oh, yes.
But you can't see it from the outside. He has a medical condition called hydrocephalus, and you'd never know that he's had 7 brain surgeries.
It just blows my mind every time I hear the story.
Right?
Yeah.
So brain surgery, right, is scary, a little
kind of a big deal,
a little unnerving. Yeah.
It's scary. It's fearful.
The surgeons apparently seem to think it's no big deal, and they'll send you home in a 24 hours, but which did actually happen one time with one of them, but it still feels like a big deal.
Well, you're messing with the brain. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Or maybe I just don't know better, but
it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, you're a walking miracle, Jeff. I mean, 7, one to me is like, oh my God, but 7. And to, like you said, what you mentioned, which I want you to talk about that a little bit more about I couldn't tell. Like you said, you can't tell just looking. So I'm glad that you started saying the inside, because I know there's a lot of people I know too that have different type of diseases and stuff that you would never know unless they just told you.
Right.
So I'm glad you're bringing that up and talk a little bit more about, that with what your condition is too.
Yeah, thank you. So invisible condition is kind of the next step in the journey there. We started Hydro with Hope, and then that was focused solely on people and families dealing with hydrocephalus, where we created a journal for that purpose, to kind of walk people through that whole surgical craziness and all that stuff, and to kind of keep track of everything, because there's a lot of keeping track of stuff in a hospital, and your follow-up appointments and stuff. And then that we were at a conference promoting that, and somebody approached us and introduced us to the network president of Achieve TV, which and of course when it's your story, it doesn't sound extraordinary, because you just live with it and adjust as necessary, and it's just life, But somebody hears 7 brain surgeries, and apparently that's a big deal. So they So they said, we could let's talk about a TV show. And I said, okay, sure. Tell me what to do, because I have no idea what you're talking about. And so long story short, we launched our TV show on April 4th of 2023. We've been on the air about a year and a half. We're on every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Achieve TV. And we're telling the story of all those amazing people that are living, and like you said in the intro, living and yet thriving despite some sort of invisible condition that that they're living with. So stories are amazing. It's so cool to hear all those stories. So
it really is. And like I said, I love how you're exposing, like you said, the unhidden medical. I
Yeah.
just kind of just to be open to you, to both of you, power couple, that I've been dealing with for a long time, with the weight problem for myself. So usually when a person sees somebody, a little, I'll say a little plump. Let's just put it that way, make it
Sure.
nice. Just a little plump, little fluffy.
There you go. Fluffy. That's a good word.
Yeah, I'm making it sound kind of cute.
There you go.
The first thing they think is, oh, she eats a lot. She eats all day and night. She's just stuffing herself and everything like that. To the point where you get depressed because in your mind, that's not what you're doing. In fact, you might not be eating at all. And that's what was happening with me. And I told the doctor, I said, something has to give here. I mean, because people, first of all, I don't care what people think. Before when I was younger, I kind of cared, but now I'm older. It's like, whatever, I'm dealing with my own thing. You get older, a lot of things people be like, blah, blah. So long story short, the doctor said, well, you have a condition that basically mess with your pituitary gland and everything. That's your whole body is just like the hormones and everything is like, so that causes weight gain. That causes, some things that a person that can probably eat a certain amount, you have to even eat less than that. Or a person that exercises a certain way, you got to exercise twice or three times more. So that's where that happens. So when people start saying, well, maybe you need to stop eating so much, Barbara. Maybe what are you doing? And what's your diet? I'm like, okay, you just don't understand. It's not that. So I get it that's why I love this, going back to what you're doing, the invisible condition, because they don't know until you explain to them. And you can't really say to have that talk with everybody, most of the time they just look at you. Right. They see a normal person or they see something that they're like, maybe you could do something about, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is we picked the tagline for the show. So the show's called Invisible Condition. But the tagline we attach to it is it's not all in your head, because there's so many of those conditions out there that, like for me, it really is all in my head. I have a device, literally, there it is. Wouldn't be here without it. So for me, it's a little different, but for most conditions, you can start to feel like a hypochondriac. Enough people question you because you don't look like you're that you have fibromyalgia or schizophrenia or bipolar or ADHD or any of these, you can't tell from the outside. And so but it's not all in your head. They are real, and you need support. And that's why the show is so powerful.
Yeah, I love it. And now I was going to ask you, now you turned that show. The show is amazing, but you now have an academy. So I want to talk a little bit about that.
You want to talk about it? Go for
it. Yeah. So we call it Invisible Condition University.
ICU for short.
And the acronym is ICU. And
I just thought about that.
Right?
We're not lost on the irony. Don't worry. And it works this way too. I see you.
I see you.
Right. So there's a couple different meanings. Yeah. We kind of want to reclaim that intensive care unit hospital, vibe. We want to reclaim that and instead of make it a negative thing, make it a positive thing, ICU. And then, as Jeff said, like, we see you. We see what you're going through. We see the challenges. We see the struggles. They're real. And it's absolutely, it's something that we wish that we had, about 10 years ago, as Jeff started going through surgery after surgery. And it, sorry.
I was going to say, just for kicks, let me just recap, just to give them an idea of what the last 10 years has been like, because it's been a little crazy. So in August of 2013 was the first one, and that was emergency abdominal surgery related to scar tissue in my abdomen, which was left over from previous surgeries. And then 2014, March of 2014, so that was a week in the hospital. To March of 14, there was 2 brain surgeries within 24 hours, and I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks because of a bacterial infection in my cerebral spinal fluid. And then in 2018, there was another, and so we had to replace that was the first 2 replacements of the shunt in recent history. And then in 2018, Something else went wrong with it. It wasn't draining properly, so they had to replace it again in March of 18. And then some mystery thing happened in 2021, and they're like, "What the heck is going on?" Went to the hospital, rode all the rides. They gave MRIs and CTs and ultrasounds and X-rays and everything. Couldn't figure it out. They said, "How about exploratory neurosurgery?" I said, "Okay." That's never a good word. You never want to hear exploratory neurosurgery, but turns out that's what I needed. That's what fixed it. There was a tiny little piece that went into the brain that was all clogged up and wasn't letting fluid through. So they replaced that, and here I am. So that's been, and then there was 2 other surgeries kind of around that as well, but 4 brain surgeries and 2 other surgeries within the last 11 years. So it's been a little bit of a ride around here. So that is why we created Invisible Condition University. So.
Well, I have to commend both of you, especially you, Catherine, because that's your husband, and I know we have to fight the fight and show, but behind closed doors, I know you were just like, oh my God, my husband again, he has to go through this again, he has to deal with this again, and then dealing with doctors and them saying certain things, and the list goes on. So I just have to commend you so much for standing with your husband through all of that, because that's there's only certain women built a certain way to deal with it. I always tell people there's certain women that can be with certain, marriages that can deal with that. And what I was just thinking as you were talking, Jeff, through the whole 10 years is, even though you went through those, I always say earth and the flows of it, is that you're still standing now, and you created this community / movement so you could help other people and give them hope and give them awareness. So like a lot of times I always say we go through things at the beginning. We're like, oh my God, I got to go through what's going on. But then at the end of the whole journey, when it comes out like this, I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah.
Right.
So go ahead. That's why we created for this type of thing. So,
Yeah. Just like what you were saying, for each one of those hospital visits and all the doctor's visits, there were times when I felt like I was totally alone, and who do we turn to? Who do we talk to? Who do we, what resources and community are out there? And so
Love that.
we didn't find a ton of that. And so that's why we've created Invisible Condition University. So yeah,
I gotta get happy with that, because when you just said create, I just said it earlier. I said, if you don't see something in this world, you can create it. And I'm glad you two created this, because people need to come and be a part of this. If they're dealing, like you said, you went through it, you don't want to be alone. You don't want other people to be alone. So you created something where it's like, you're not alone. This is a community to come to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we wanted to create a place where other people like us, can come and find community, and find people that listens and cares and walks with you, no matter what you're going through, no matter what the condition, no matter how complicated or simple or whatever. So that's why we did it. And we meet twice a month on Tuesdays, like every other Tuesday at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And so start with an hour. If we go longer, whatever. Just for answering questions. I mean, come on, there's lots of questions in the medical world, right? For patients and their caregivers. Bring everybody. Everybody's welcome. Ask questions, vent frustrations, find information about whatever you want to find information about. We've amassed a huge amount of information and resources over the last year and a half doing this show. And along with all the crazy life experience that we had to go through to find the stuff that got me back on my feet after all these surgeries. So, if you want to be a part of it, just go to myfreegiftfromjeff.com, myfreegiftfromjeff.com, and you'll get the first month, because it costs a little money for the membership. It's only $17 a month. Right now, that's all it. I mean, you go to Starbucks a couple times a month, you're already paying more than that. So we wanted to keep it accessible for everybody. So myfreegiftfromjeff.com gets you that first month for free. Come join us, and I hope and pray that everybody's here long term, because I think it's going to be beneficial long term for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, Catherine. I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to say, so that university part, right, is all about learning together, right? You know, we've learned some things. We'd love to share some things. We also love to hear, you know, what's worked for other people as well.
Yep.
So a
Mhm.
whole, you know, give and take community exchange of sharing and
Of
information.
sharing information. Yeah, I was just about to say, because, you know, the old saying goes, knowledge is power. And when you can get that knowledge, you're more powerful to, you know, deal with whatever situation
Yeah.
it is. And not just deal with it, but just understand, have more understanding of it too. Instead of
Right.
just saying, I don't know what's going on. Oh, no, yeah, I didn't go, you know, because sometimes
Right.
that creates the fear to go down a little, because now you know the whole, you know, the knowledge part of it, the background of it. So I
Yeah.
love how you're educating, giving awareness and comfort. So you're doing
Yeah.
so much. That's why I say this is a movement. It's just not just a community. It's just not you two just doing this. It's something that people are in need. And, you know, I love what you're doing because it goes into the mental health aspect of it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes that's all you need. I mean, at the beginning of my show, I say the same thing every time. It's you know, you do have a voice, you do have a community, and you are never alone. That's it's a huge deal. You know, you've got to know that you are not alone. There's people that come on the show that really just want that sentiment to get out. Most people come on because they're doing something awesome despite their condition, but there are some people that are like, I just want to tell my story,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes that's what people need. They just want to be heard and listened to because they don't feel like they have been in the traditional medical model. And I say that with a heart of gratitude toward the medical community, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for good surgeons. Okay. Not trying to throw them under the bus or anything, but they do kind of have a gap between, okay, you've left the hospital and now there's life.
Yeah.
What's in between?
What's in between?
ICU is in between. So yeah.
That was a good feeling. I like that. What's in between? ICU's between.
There you go.
Well, with that, power couple is on the win. I love it. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure to give any other things that you want to leave for the audience, I'm going to take myself down for a minute, and then I want you just to express anything that you want to leave, and we'll come back up and see how they can contact you. So I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you, Barbara. This is so cool. I'm so glad we got to do this. So thank you very much. I'm going to read a little tiny bit out of here. It's really short. It's at the very end of the About Jeff section in the journal, talking about why we wrote it and what the who am I to be writing this, you know? So this is the very end. It says, having lived with hydrocephalus for over 45 years, I can say three things with absolute 100% certainty. Number one, God is faithful all the time. Number two, God is in control, and that's a good thing. And number three, life does not have to be perfect to be amazing. Those are the main things that I want you guys to understand that after this show. So just remember that.
Absolutely. And come join us. Come join our community in Invisible Condition University. Join us, bring your stories, bring your information, bring your love and questions and frustrations. Let's talk about all of it.
Can't wait to see you there.
Yes, I had to give the power couple some love and some time for them to leave with everybody. So again, please, you can contact them. I have I think there's their email address there or their website. I just want to make sure I have that there. And just reach out. And I always tell people there's no excuse to say, well, Barbara, I didn't really get to see down the bottom. Well, you know who I am, and I know who they are. So
that's right.
To me, and I can reach out to them. That's how we do that. So I just want to say again, you are family now. You can please come back to the Coaches Lounge at any time. If you have certain things going on with the ICU and with the show, you know, please reach out and get on their show. I mean, it is magnificent. Wonderful show to share your story. People need to hear it, because I always tell people, when you share your story, you're giving other people hope. Give other people hope. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. So with that said, thank you so much, power couple. I appreciate you so much. And
thank you, Barbara.
I know Jeff. So I keep saying power couple because I want that to ring in your ear. I want that to keep going.
It's sinking in. It's sinking in.
Take it.
It's sinking in. So with that, we will see everybody next week with another wonderful guest. But as I always tell people, always remember that You have a gift in you, and that's who you mentor, that's who you coach, and that gift in you is needed, not just for yourself to grow, but for others to grow, just like this power couple is doing with others. So please make sure that you're out there shining a light for others. See you next time. Bye.